gonna show you my family's recipe for roast chicken and my mom's noodle recipe. And you can do it on a dime. So the nice thing about this meal is it's only about $25 for everything. Okay, let's get cooking. Put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. I like to start with the onions as the base and then set them up in the bottom of the pan, almost like a rack. And all the vegetables go on the bottom for this reason, because the chicken's gonna set right on top of all these yummy vegetables and drip down into them, so the vegetables have just as much flavor and seasoning as the chicken does, but they also get roasted at the same time. So you've got an entire meal right here in one pan. And just kind of build your little rack inside here for the chicken to rest on. I like to have a couple potatoes in the pan with it because they kind of absorb the juices, and then you've got your whole base for the chicken. Okay, so my mom always made the chicken dance while she was having fun in the kitchen. So he's making his way to dinner. Here we go. Just cover him in the olive oil. This is gonna add to the flavor of the broth that's gonna cook the noodles later on. So a little bit of Italian seasoning, just cover him. And then a little sea salt. And I like to go a little heavy on the salt because it's not just the chicken. This is going over all those veggies and it's creating that gravy, and you want a lot of flavor in your gravy. So, some black pepper, and again, go a little heavy on it. You're gonna put the lid on and you're gonna put this in the oven at 350 for about an hour and a half, or until the center is 165 degrees. Okay, so now for my mom's noodles. So we've got all-purpose flour, about 2 cups of it, a little bit of salt, 2 eggs, but you only want the yolks. It's a little bit of water, knead it all together. So this is kind of the consistency of a thick Play-Doh. This is kind of how this is supposed to feel. And then just have some flour in reserve because you're gonna make a little bit of a mess. I wanna get this a little bit thin, not super thin. So I just cut right here on the counter, and I like to hold the noodle on this side as I slice so that they come out about like this. And just keep tossing them around so they get dusty on all sides, because we're gonna let them sit here on the counter for a few hours and just kind of dry out while the chicken's roasting. It's a little ASMR for you. We've got more than enough noodles right here. We're just gonna leave them sitting out here, just making sure you've got enough flour on them and you're good to go. Okay, so it's been about an hour. I'm gonna pull the chicken out. Oh, perfect. So you can see it's not golden brown yet, but it's cooked through. And so now we're just gonna take this over the sink and drain it into a saucepan. Now we're gonna put him back in the oven for about, 15 to 30 minutes, just depending. I leave the temperature at 350. Now I'm gonna make a little roux here. Some of this leftover flour, a little bit of butter, just melt this down. This is the thickening agent because we want it to thicken up like a gravy. And then you're gonna whisk this in a little bit at a time. And now we just throw the noodles in to cook. So this is gonna thicken the broth as well. And you just wanna add them in a little bit at a time, let them cook so they don't just become a blob. Ready to put in the serving bowl. We're almost ready to eat. Dinner is ready. We have white plates, great silverware, and all of our beautiful white serving platters. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.